teach, I just want to share some things about Power BI to every one of us, at this session. And I'm trying to share my screen. I'm trying to share my screen so that, or allow, I'm joining through the other system so that I can allow this system to share my screen. Sorry, I'm trying to go to the settings. Or should I make you the co-host and you allow the person in charge of the mail?
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay, can you allow us to share screen?
I've done that.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. So as I was saying, we are about to look at one of the important tools for those in the business world now, and that is Power BI. I'm trying to share my screen for everybody to see now, and the tool is known as Power BI. I don't know if there's anyone that can tell us the meaning of Power BI. Power BI. Can anyone tell us? Just put it in the chat room. I'm going to grab that, or you can unmute yourself. And so you're about to talk about Power BI. Okay, good. Please, as my screen shown for us there, can we see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, we can. We can see your screen.
Good. Thank you, Aziz Alimi. Thank you for that. The name is Power Business Intelligence. That is very, very correct. And it's coming from Microsoft. We are still going to talk a little bit about it. So this is a nice session. Firstly, I'm really excited to be presenting Power BI this evening. And I've also gained a lot from the Muslim Mentorship Connect. And I think that this is an opportunity for me to give back to the community. We pray to Almighty Allah to accept it from me as Ibadah and every one of us as well. Allahumma Ameen. So we will be talking about Power BI now, and we want to do introduction. As the moderator brightly said earlier, Power BI is not something that you are going to just learn within 2 hours. I have one of my mentors last 2 weeks that called me and said he wants to learn Power BI within 1 hour. That should come and teach him. I'm like, sir, this is not possible. Power BI is a software that even me, I'm still learning. There's a continuous learning about Power BI because Microsoft keep updating the application every month. So if you are not updated on what Power BI can do for you, then you may be caught out of the circle. So I am also learning, and I keep learning about Power BI. Someone has said that he wants to learn Power BI within 1 hour. I'm like, sir, it's not possible. We later share some things, which he said, okay, well, he has an idea of what Power BI is now, but he may not be a Jedi, like an expert in Power BI. So, but today we want to do an introduction for us, about Power BI. At least the objective of today's session is to propel that our enthusiasm and to propel that energy from us in order to learn about, to continue the learning process about Power BI. There are so many ways of learning. You can learn online, you can learn offline. There are so many ways. I don't want to go into stories of how I learned Power BI, but that could be discussion for another day. I work with data science, Nigeria for now, that's that. So step Power BI, propelling appropriate data-driven decision in your enterprise. I'm going to start, as I've told you, I said I'm a teacher. I want you to see my screen now. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Good. So look at all the icons that we have on my screen, and I want you to identify which of them can you identify. How many? There's a grade by the right that says if you can only identify 2, then you are good. If you can identify 4, that is really, really encouraging. If you can identify 6, wow, that is credit. And if you can identify more than 6, that is excellent. You don't need to be in this class if you can identify more than 6. So, so okay, just tell me how many can you identify? Okay, Power BI and SAP. Okay, good. SAP is there. What else? Someone else is talking. Okay, you can identify two. Good. Another person, another person, another person, another person. Okay, you can identify one. Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, don't worry. There's the answer to this question is still in the chat. Just one. Well, okay, for those that are saying one, which of them can you identify? Can you just let me know which of them? Is it the Power BI itself or something else? Just type. I'll grab that. Power BI. Okay, good, good. Okay, SAP, good. Yes, SAP is there. Power BI is there. We are going to see the answer to all that. For our information, all what I'm showing here, they do almost the same thing with Power BI. Some of them have some other features that Power BI, don't worry, on Olakwa Blakim, you are going to get along, inshallah. Some of them have some features that are more than that of Power BI. You know, why some of them, they can't do up to what Power BI can do. Some of them can do far more than that. But essentially, all of them, they deal with analytics. You know, they will deal with analytics. Some of them are online based. If you're not online, you can't use them. Like the third one to your left, after the orange, then there's like 3 box and 1 leaf. Then the third one that is blue, if you're not online, you can't use it. You know, it's part of the name is here. The name of that third one is here. You know, so there are some of them that can work online and offline, like Power BI, like the one that is far right, to the top like that. You get it. So let's move along. That is just like an introduction in order for us to get along. So what are we going to be learning today? We'll be learning the team of users, those people that are going to be needing Power BI, that really need Power BI. Then we'll talk about what is business intelligence. We'll talk about the popular BI tools. Then we'll talk about Power BI briefly. Then we'll talk about a tug of war between Power BI and desktop and Power BI service. Then we have an overview of Power BI, career and certification. Then we go straight up into the practical session. Yeah, these are the users. These are the people that need this. So who can tell us who are those in category A? Category A, who can you see here? You can type, you can unmute yourself and talk. Category A, who are those here?
Students.
Very good. They are students, they are college students, maybe in the polytechnic, in the colleges of education, in the colleges of health, in the universities. They need all that. In fact, essentially, good students, they are students. Essentially, there is no profession that does not really need the usage of Power BI, especially if that profession deals with data, either qualitative data or quantitative data. For you now to be in the engineering faculty or you are in the sciences, yeah, you are in the sciences, maybe physical science, chemical science, even biological science. Okay, for your information, I'm a biological scientist and Power BI is one of those things I use. So any part of the sciences that you fall in, and in engineering, you'll be using Power BI a lot. In fact, those that are in education as well, there was a time that I was teaching someone about, I think Excel or something, and the person was like, wow, this is what teachers need. It is going to make their recording and all very, very easy. And that is how it is, So even though if you're a teacher, you are something, anything you are reading in school that deal with data, you really need it. And I would just implore us that we try to get these skills to be very, very good at it. It is one of those things that could, who knows, it could be what will be giving you your pay beyond schools. We have people that study so many things in school. Now they are data analysts also, to say, analyzing data using Power BI and Excel. And they are making their cool money, even though Nigeria is, it is how it is. Then those in category B, who are they? Please, who are they? Who are those in category B? I need a response for us to move faster. I don't want to be the one talking. Very good. Thank you. These are graduates. So even if you miss that opportunity to learn Power BI in school while you're in colleges, when you have graduated, you can still learn it. Maybe after you're undergraduate, yes, you can still learn it and you are good to go. So the third one are the core members. During your NYSC core, a lot of people used to complain, hey, it is a waste of time. I'm serving in the villages. It is Lagos, it is too busy, they are just waiting. So many complaints, but you don't need to complain. In fact, that period of service here is a period for you to really, really develop yourself. Maybe in your technical skill, in your soft skills, and every other thing. In fact, some people prepare for their postgraduate during the service year, and they get it, at the end. So if you fall into this category as well, you are good to go to learn Power BI, and you are going to make a very good use of it. Then the D category, who are those in this D category? D category now.
Job seekers.
Very good. Those that are seeking job, this is one of the fascinating tools that you can take along, to any job interview. Just tell them that I confidently use the Power BI to analyze your data and all, they will be wow, you can do all that. Although moving forward, some of them could be asking you that, are you a financial analyst? Even if you're not a financial analyst and you can handle some parts analysis with Power BI, although there are some part of it that you'll be talking about revenue, income, profit, blah, blah, blah. So that means that you have to be familiar with all that. And it is indeed a good tool that you can take along to job interviews. And if Allah counts it as yours, you are surely going to be hired. The E are those that are professionals already. They are already in the work. Maybe if you're a financial analyst, maybe you're an accountant, or you are even an HR, or you are an economist, or you are a researcher, maybe in school, colleges, or maybe outside. You're working in a professional environment, those in the bank, insurance, and so on and so forth. Power BI is a tool that if you have it along with what you are doing, it makes your work more easier. And in fact, what we'll be doing today, if you can handle Power BI very well, you don't need to be doing the work all over again. You just would have set everything when your data is coming in and everything is filtering, and you'll be good to go. We'll be doing some other things. They will be thinking that you are really working, busy doing one or two things, but you just be busy doing some other things because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You have set all your parameters and everything will be working for you. And you have linked it to where you ought to link it to. Maybe your manager or those at the top management level, they'll be seeing the report. Oh, we are increasing, this is weekly report, blah, blah, blah. But they don't know that due to your Power BI skills, you've been able to set that up. The F are those in my circle, my learned colleagues. What can you see on the screen for the F category? Hello, please, what can you see? I want you to talk. I want anyone, just unmute and talk. Or you can type. What can you see?
Data scientist.
Good. The data scientist, the data gurus, thank you. The database developer, administrator, data architect, data analyst, and all. All of them too, if they can use Power BI well, it makes their life so easy. Okay, let me just tell us a very short story. I started my data journey with actually Python, but at some point when we want to do data visualization with Python, it is not as so interactive as what we are having in Power BI. So for the data scientists that write Python codes, or those that use R, you see that the visualization you'll be using, they are static. They are not so interactive as what we are having in Power BI, except if you are going to be using Plotly as a library, and the interactivity, you can't compare it with what we'll be having as in Power BI. But when I switch a little bit to Power BI, the analytics part of it, I said that, wow, all what we are using to write a lot of Matplotlib codes, Pandas code, Seaborn and all, everything is moving easier in Power BI. You don't even have to write code at times, In fact, there's one of my mentor that said that he's going to throw up a challenge for us. You don't have to write any code and you have to do your visualization perfect, without even punching the keyboard. You get it? So that is part of the tool. If you have this, it makes your analytics easier and you'll be able to move ahead of all that. And lastly are the CEOs. If you have a small company or you are the one in charge of a small enterprise and all, essentially you are not like you want to learn Power BI to be the experts of all, but at least you need to have an idea of what Power BI is, so that whenever you have a data analyst in your team and is sending something to you, you can easily relate with what the person is sending and you'll be able to move along with that. So those are the people, and I want to believe that either all of these, you are going to someone is going to fall in any of all these categories. So, want to go into business intelligence? Please, is my screen still visible? Just type and let me know.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, very good. So thank you. So we said, what is business intelligence? We said Power BI it means Power Business Intelligence. So that means that the business intelligence is the essential reason why we are having Power BI. So business intelligence is the transformation of data into actionable insight that inform an organization's strategic and tactical business decision. Okay, good. So you see that by your left, what you can see by the left screen is you are seeing data in spreadsheets, different columns, car ID, symbolic, car name, blah, 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 different data in different columns. Then to your far right, you can see something else, So if I may ask you, which one will you be able to relate with? Is it the icon to the right, this one, or the one to the left? Please, I need answers. Is it the one to the right or the one to the left?
You want to the right.
You want to the right. Very good. Yes. So because that is telling us pinpoint, okay, this is the number of these that we are having, this is the percentage, this is this, yes. This is that, the visual. So that is what Power BI wants to do. So that's what business intelligence is saying. It is turning this raw data, the one to the left, turning it to something that you can easily relate with. And by relating with it, it will make it easy for those in the realms of affairs to take decision. Okay, from what we are seeing here, I think this is doing better than this. We need to make adjustments of this and that, and that will be fine. Please, I want to implore us that we should always be reading the footer that we have underneath. The footer is saying that if data is oxygen of digital economy, then business intelligence is the lungs that make the oxygen to be worthwhile. And I think that is true. We said the oxygen of digital economy now. When you talk about digital economy, you're talking about everything that deals with IT now. The software developers, the front, the back, the data scientists, the this and that. So anything that shall deal with IT, even digital marketing, SEOs and all, they are all part of the IT. So oxygen is the data is the oxygen of data economy. If that is the case, then you need the lungs to make the oxygen to work. For those I'm a zoologist, as I've mentioned. If you are talking about the lungs, without the lungs in man, Homo sapiens, the oxygen cannot work. The oxygen cannot just go inside the body and be breaking down food like that. It needs to go through the lungs, then to the heart, through the arteries and all. So this is the answer to our questions. So the first one is a burst. We call it burst. Then the other one, we call it IBM Cognos Analytics. IBM Cognos is one of my favorites anyway, So then the other one, we have Data Pine. We have a MicroStrategy. Then we have Power BI. Then we have Zoho Analytics. We have SAS. We have Sisense. We have Tableau. We have ClickView. Then we have Yellowfin. Then we have SAP. I mentioned Tableau and I repeated it because almost all what Power BI does, Tableau also do that. And in the data world, for those in the analytic space, there used to be this tug of war. Okay, there used to be this tug of war. We have Tableau for Windows as well. I have it on this system, so it's not only for Mac. Used to be this tug of war between Power BI and Tableau. Power BI is better than Tableau, Tableau is better than Power BI, all these jibes all around. It's like saying Microsoft and maybe Google. Some of them have features that the other don't have. It's like Excel and the Google Sheet. There are some things that Google Sheet will do conveniently, that Microsoft Excel might not be able to do, although they are trying to update Excel as well, maybe through the Office 365. And there are some things that Excel will do that Google Sheet may not be able to do. You can operate Excel offline, but you can't operate Google Sheet offline, and that is a major difference between the two. So there is always this tug of war between Power BI and Tableau. For those in the data world, they would say between Python and R and all. But let us leave all that for them. So usage of any of these tools depend on the organization you work with and the purpose of the analytics you are doing. That is what will really depend on which one to use. But here in Nigeria or part of this Africa, we use more of Microsoft products, and Power BI is essentially. You observe that for those in the corporate world, everybody does have a Microsoft account or an Office 365 account. So if you have an Office 365 account, then Power BI is good for you to go. If you are not using it, you are just wasting government resources. So that is the answer to our quest. So you can always go back and compare that. So now I want to talk about Power BI. Essentially, firstly, is that Power BI was released in July 24, 2015, and they call it Power BI Designer Preview. That was the initial name. So that means that by July 24th, 2021, Power BI will be how many years? I need someone to tell us. Power BI will be how many years? Hello? By July 25th, 2021, Power BI will be how many years, please? Yes, very good. Power BI will just be 6 years. That's correct. So that is telling us that it's just an application that came by. It has not been around for so long, but Tableau have been around earlier before that. So at times we do see job description and they're always funny. You see that they say they need a Power BI, a data analyst that have experience of using Power BI for between 8 and 10 years. You'll be like, wow, Power BI that is not even up to 8 years. You need someone that have been using it for the past 8 years. That is just by the way. I've seen a lot of job description like that. Very, very funny. Like Power BI is just 6 years. We'll just be 6 years by July 24th. This year. So that is how it started. Although it came as an upgrade to what we have in Excel, Microsoft Excel. For those that are familiar with Excel, there's something that we call Power Query, Power Pivot. The upgrade of all that is what we know as a Power BI. And it has been going through a lot of transformation, from the Microsoft company. Then also that it supports M, R, and Python language. So also the SQL, the structured query languages, it also supports that. If you want to use all those languages to get data, maybe from your database or so, yeah, you can write your select statement, select this from this, blah, 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 select some columns from a particular table. You can put your criteria, where, clause, the having, group by, order by, and all. You can extract all that with your SQL script, and Power BI will allow that. If you also want to extract some data through your Python codes as well, you can also use Power BI to do that, and also the R language as well. Then essentially Power BI supports a particular language that is called M script, M for mouse, M for mouse. So M script that is used to hello, can we hear me, please? Please, can we hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good. So it supports the M script, which essentially is the coding part. Power BI also allow you to write code. So the coding part, you write M script, like I'm writing Python code, I'm writing R code, I'm writing JavaScript, Java, and all. So I'm also writing M codes here, although we call it DAGs. We'll still talk about that later. Then another thing about Power BI that makes it distinct is the fact that it has monthly updates. Every month you can always update. There's always an update from Microsoft, when they will be adding new features to that. Someone is raising hand, but let me just finish this slide before I can take that. So there's always a monthly update. Recently they added the search button to Power BI. Recently too, they added the smart narrative, that is the AI embedded features. Even this logo that we are seeing, for those that are familiar with Power BI, this is this new logo of Power BI, this particular golden yellow kind of, it used to be something different. It used to be a black and a golden yellow kind of, but they just changed it, during their monthly update and every other features, Then also is that it works offline and it is free to download. You can use it and you can share what you built, with your co-workers and see. So I don't need to be online for me to use Power BI. After downloading it, installing it on my system, then it's free for me to use. I can work offline. But some of those other tools that I mentioned earlier, some of them, if you are not online, you can't use them. Essentially, like this IBM Cognos Analytics, if you're not online. Lastly, have a fast-growing community that if you have any issue with in Power BI, there's a community that you can go to and ask your question, and surely you're going to see someone to answer that question or someone that have answered that question before, and you're going to get what you want. Essentially, it's those that are software developers too. They Google as well, and they said your ability to Google very well is another skill entirely that you need. So the same thing happens for Power BI. There's something that you'll be looking for. If you can Google appropriately, you are going to see them at your fingertips at various community that we have. So we said Power BI has one of the largest online community among the BI tools, which you can learn from. Yeah, this is a small riddle, like an interlude. We've been talking, so I need us to talk. We have picture A, the one to the left, and picture B. You can tell us what can you pick from the two pictures? What can you pick? The one to your left is the one in purple background, then the one to the right is the one in blue background. So just unmute yourself and tell us what can you pick from B. This is a tech riddle. Yeah. Yes, who is talking? Unmute, talk. Please allow them to unmute and talk. What can you see? What can you how can you relate with any of these? Or no one can hear me? Can anybody hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I need someone to tell us what can you depict. That is a tech riddle. What can you depict from what we have here? Anyone talking? Okay, in order not to waste time, you see that the first picture is telling us that a robot is working or a machine, and there's someone that is like controlling it, and the robot is working for the person. That is what that is that. Then the other one is showing a robot that is kicking someone out of his office, So these are two things that are happening now. And actually, it is either you make the robot to work for you, or the robot kicks you out of office. I think there are two tech personalities of the world. One share the view that one share the option of A, the other one shares the second option. I hope we know Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla and all like that. So he shares the view that at some point, the robot will be kicking people out of jobs. But Jack Ma is saying that no, he doesn't feel that way, that we will be using robots in order for us to do what we want to accomplish in our work. Because essentially, robot is being programmed by someone. Robot is not being given birth to. It doesn't disappear from planet Mars. They didn't just come as aliens. Someone built it, and someone have access to be doing some things. So the same thing happens for so it's going to be working based on what you are programming to do. Although there's some intelligence that they are giving into robots now for them to perform some human intelligence stuff as well. So it actually depends on how you use the digital space. So it is either it is working for you or it is going to kick you out of the show at some point. So that is just by the way. So this is the tug of war that we do have between Power BI Desktop and Power BI Service. Okay, let me quickly mention these. Power BI has three features. We have the Power BI desktop. That is the offline features where you install on your system and you'll be using offline. Just like your Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, with the one with your license, you don't need to be connected to the internet. It works fine. Then there is one that you have to be connected to the internet for you to use it, and that is Power BI service. That is like a website where you push in, you can actually start the Power BI process, with your data set and do your analytics there as well. But it is online purpose, or is online feature where you have to be connected to the internet for you to use it. If you're not connected to the internet, you can't essentially, it's like you will log into your Gmail, without being connected to the internet. That is not possible. So that is the difference between the two. Then the third one is the Power BI mobile. Power BI mobile is like, I want Power BI to be opening on my phone, just like apps on my phone. So essentially the executives do use it a lot, when their Power BI developer have developed something and has developed a report or a dashboard. So you're going to put it in a mobile view and send it to the executive so that the manager can see, maybe even while he's in transit or he's traveling or so, he can still be seeing report and see what is going on. So that's the third one. But the one that used to have the tug of war more is desktop versus service. So for Power BI desktop, we said anyone can use it, anywhere you don't need mail, you don't need login details, you don't need signing, you don't need anything. You can just use it directly, which we are going to do now anyway. So, but for the Power BI service, you need a corporate email for you to use it. So that means that all your Yahoo Mail, your Gmail, all those mails cannot work with Power BI service. So you need to have an office email or a school mail. It's allowed. Like I can say, okay, labiba@inlag.edu.ng. It works. Maybe at ui.edu.pg. That all those kind of mail can work. Or maybe Dawood at Summercraft at Clinic or something like that. Something that is not shared Gmail. That works fine. Then also is that it allows multiple data sources. That is for Power BI desktop, but for Power BI service, there's always a limitation. And and also is that it has a data limitation. Essentially, what you have built in Power BI desktop, if you push it online to Power BI service, and you can either push the data source and the data source and the analytics, the visualization that you have done, or you can put, only the visualization without the data source, anyone, but there's a restriction to the data source for Power BI service. Therefore, Power BI desktop, there's complete analytics on data, and in fact, you can even import so many other visualization, and that is very fine. For service, there's always a little bit of restriction. Then for Power BI desktop, and I want us to take note of this. It is very, very important. It has only report interface. But for Power BI service, it has both dashboard and report interface. Most people that are starting with Power BI, they can't actually say the difference between dashboard and reports. They will say that, maybe on LinkedIn, you say, see my dashboard that I've created and all. Essentially, they are creating reports, not dashboard. You get it? So there's a difference between report and dashboard. What you create in Power BI desktop is actually a report. But when you get to Power BI service, you are now going to pin each of your visualization. You pin them to a dashboard. Dashboard is a visualization that is showing, and it is not interactive. You can't be clicking on the slicers and the filters and it will be working. It will just be like picture that is showing the graphs, maybe the scatter plot, or is showing the bar chart, or is showing the pie chart or maps and so on and so forth. That is the dashboard. But report interface, you can always be interacting with that. In report, that is where you put icons and it will be changing from one page to another and all like that. But for dashboard, that does not occur. So in Power BI Desktop, you only have the report interface, but for Power BI Service, you have both report and dashboard. Good. So now let us look at what are the things that Power BI can do for us. The first thing is that you can essentially prepare your data in Power BI. So you have access to your data, you load it in and you clean it. You know, when you talk about data cleaning, you're talking about the fact that you are trying to remove duplicates, you are trying to verify the data type, you are trying to structure the columns and the row very well, and sort the values, standardize them, normalize them, and all. Essentially, even as a Power BI developer or so, most of your time will be to clean the data in your Power Query, because most time data don't come refined. As in, for them to be in the proper shape that they need to be, they are not always refined. So you need to clean them by adjusting their data type, removing some duplicates, removing null values, or you replace them with something else, and doing a lot of things with your data. So Power BI can actually assist you to do that. Although there is usually an advice that at times, if your data is too messy, it is always good to clean it properly in Microsoft Excel or the Google Sheet before you now bring it to Power BI. Because if you are to do the major cleaning of a messy data set in Power BI, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of energy. But in a Microsoft Excel or Google Sheet, you'll be able to clean it faster and easier over there. Then the other thing that Power BI does for you is for data modeling. Data modeling is your ability to link up the tables with one another. For someone that is very good at data modeling, that is one of the features that will show that, okay, this person is an expert of Power BI. I think I was talking to a colleague yesterday. He said in their office that they'll just import the data, load it, and they start work, and they said it to they are using Power BI. He said he does not even know what the data modeling part is all about, and that is it. So that shows that those set of people are not yet optimizing the usage of Power BI. So your ability to put things in table, the dimension and the fact table, and link them together with the primary and the foreign key is a very, very essential features, in Power BI. You do that in the Power Query, then you export it to the data modeling view of Power BI, and you do that. Then the other part is the visualization. This is the part that most people used to see, and you see the color and the graphs and every other thing. This is like the food that you are being served essentially. But before the food comes out, there must have been a lot of preparation, as the moderator was explaining. You must have gotten, maybe you want to prepare the amala now, and maybe the egusi soup, must have gotten your yam flour, get the water boiled, turn it very well, get your soup prepared, the fish or the meat you are including, and every other thing. But at the end of the day, when you are serving in food, that is the visualization that you are giving us, and we will be seeing the end product. Your managers or your MDs or something, what they want to see is the visualization. They don't care about all the cleaning and the data modeling that you are doing, which are your own essential feature and work. The last part of data modeling that we'll be talking about is how you can share report. Please try to turn your video off. Some people videos are showing. The last part that we are talking about is your ability to share reports. The visualization that you have created, you will be able to share it with your executives, maybe your managers or your other colleagues or your other team members. I've worked on my Power BI desktop and I've created a lot of visualization. I can share it or publish it to some of my colleagues, but I will be able to do that if I have logged in and I have a Power BI service account, which I need an official mail for me to do that. Although if you don't have an official email, you are not a student, you're not working in the workspace, they don't have official email for you, there is a part in Microsoft that you can use to, you can create a free official mail, for yourself, and you'll be able to use it at the end of the day. So that is one of the things that Power BI does for us. So there's always something that we want to talk about, and that is what are the career paths in Power BI if you are very good at Power BI, and what is the essence of the certification. You know, the career path is limitless. Depending on the organization, each place have a specific name that they give it. They can call you a data visualization specialist, you know, you can work as a data visualization specialist. You can work as a financial analyst as well, beyond just working with Excel in Microsoft Excel, you know. You can also work as an HR analyst. And this is very, very important for those in the HR segment. All the wahalas at times that you do in Excel, your life will be more easier and more relatable when you have all that in Power BI. So essentially, you can also learn that and be an HR analyst. You can also be a research analyst, maybe research in the academic world or in the corporate world, in the company or industry. You know, you deal with the research. So when you have gathered your data and you want to present your report, Power BI is a good tool for you. You can be a BI consultant, you know, that people will consult you that, okay, we have data, we have a business case, or we have an issue and we need someone to help us to solve that. And that will go. You can be a commercial analyst. You know, this word commercial analyst, you know, is making me to smile because of something that is coming. You know, you can be a commercial analyst that is that can actually work in any company. You know, you can also be a business analyst. Essentially, each company will determine the name that they will call the person. In another company, they can call you a Power BI developer. In another place, they can call you a business analyst. In another place, they can call you a commercial analyst. In another place, they can call you a data analyst. You know, essentially, you are working with Power BI and maybe with Excel. You know, essentially, you can't actually use Power BI if you don't know Excel to some extent. You just be like wasting time and all. So that is very, very important. Now, certification. So some will add that what is the essence of certification? You don't even need it. Well. Certification are divided into two.
Okay.
There is this online certification, you know, maybe from Udemy, Coursera, and all like that. Then there is also one verified certification from Microsoft. We call it the DA100, Microsoft Power BI exam certification. So you'll be certified as a data analyst associate. You're going to pay in dollars to have that. But I know that for those in Nigeria or Africa, they have a reduced amount for you to pay in order for you to take the exam. So you must have learned in two ways. You may learn through Microsoft Learn. Microsoft have a kind of model that you can follow through, read, then watch videos, they're embedded, you know, and you can follow through it and be learning Power BI through that. After each module, they ask you some questions to be sure if you really understand what you've learned. You know, so if you have that of the Microsoft, then you can call yourself, wow, now I'm a Microsoft certified data analyst associate. And if you go to interview with that, you know, that should give you an edge over some other people. But the online certifications, like the one maybe from Udemy, Coursera, and every other platform like that, those ones are for you. Those ones have people. They could be data analyst associate of Microsoft or no, but those that are very, very good in the Power BI, and they are coming to teach other people. So if you have gone through all their module and maybe submit your assignment or so, you'll be certified at the end of the day. But the challenge with all that is that at times, some people may not even actually go through all those, but they'll just be going to the next lesson just to have the certificate, you know. And they will say that, oh, I've gotten this certificate from Udemy and all. That is not so good, you know. For any certificate you are getting online, you should be able to defend it and say that, wow, I can actually defend this and work with that. So first thing that your certification will do for you, either ways, either the certification of the online school or that of Microsoft, is going to level up your career. It boosts your portfolio, you know, makes you to be recognized. You know, if you have that badge of Microsoft that, oh, I'm a data analyst associate certified by Microsoft. It level up your career. Then also is that it increases your skill and experience, because if you truly follow the online school, maybe from Udemy or Coursera or something, or even TechVarsity, is one of the fast growing platform from one of our brothers in Nigeria now that you learn so many digital skills there. You can check it up as well. So if you have all that, you are going to have some skills, because each Power BI course that you take, each tutor or each facilitator will be facilitating, giving you different skills of doing the same thing. Different skills of doing the same thing. I've taken up to like more than 5 Power BI courses online. And I observed that each one of them, they treat the course, or even if they want to treat something that I know before, but they are going to say it in another way that will give me, oh, wow, I can also do it in this way. Or because when we get to Power BI, now you see that there are so many ways of doing just one thing, so many ways in the same Power BI. But if you don't know, you don't know. So that we are going to get that experience, and we are going to gain that skill and the experience, maybe with the data that they are using and all like that. So that's very important. And lastly, they're going to boost your portfolio and expertise, because the more you work with data, the better you are going to become at the end of the day. So thank you very much for this session. That is where we are going to end today's session now. That's the first part. Now we are going to go into the practical session in total, where we are going to launch a Power BI application, and we are going to see, we are not done with the session. This is just part A. We are going to part B now. We are going to launch Power BI. We are going to import the data, and we are going to do some visualization as time permits. So someone is raising, 2 people raise their hand, and I will want them to ask their question, and maybe they can unmute themselves and ask their question.
Sorry, do we need to download the Power BI app?
Yes, you need to download the Power BI application for you to be able
We'll
to
be
use
using it today, right?
Yes, we are going to be using it today. We are going to be using it today.
Okay, I tried downloading it one time, but I could not get it. I don't know why.
Yes. Yeah, we are going to look at that now. For your information too, when the time that I wanted to use Power BI as well, I observed that I can't also use it. I can't download. So I have to be searching online everywhere. Where can I download Power BI? Where can I do this? Where can I do that? Essentially, I couldn't. So at the end of the day, I couldn't download it. And it was just someone that now said, okay, let's just try to Google and see if we could download it online. And the person put me through, we went through the Microsoft page, and we were able to download. But the stress of me downloading that Power BI, it really pissed me off, to use Power BI at that first instance. Then you get it. But later on, I got to know that, oh, if you want to download Power BI, it's just an easy step. Although there are 2 ways of downloading it, either one is fine. Any other question, please? Save each down our hand. Okay, any other question? Okay, in the absence of other question, we are going to move straight up to how to use Power BI. And we are going to the practical session now. We are coming to the practical session, and okay. Please, can we see my screen? Okay, someone is asking, can you get the PDF? Well, personally, I don't like to give people slides, because I do see that people used to read the slides. That's my personal view. I'm not saying that I'm not going to read it. Before now, I have also been saying that even me, the PowerPoint slide that I've gotten for some event and all like that. I don't used to open it. That could be a bad attitude anyway. So most of the time, I do feel that I should not, we should not share the ball because people will not use it. But at the end of this class, don't worry, the slide will be shared to us and we are going to see that. Okay, now we want to start with Power BI. For us to start using Power BI, you need to go to your Google, your console, your search engine, sorry. Then you type Power BI download. Hello, are we together, please?
Yes.
Good. So you type Power BI download. After typing that Power BI download, this is the page that we are going to have. We are going to have this one that is saying https, :powerbi.microsoft.com, greater than download. We are going to see another one, powerbi desktop.ensoftonic.com. In fact, then this is where I was going to, and it was really frustrating me. But please, my dear brothers and sisters, the first one is good for you. After clicking the first one, it's going to take you to a Microsoft website where you can actually download Power BI. So this is the Microsoft website, and this is what we're going to be seeing. Can we see the website, please?
Yes.
Good. So when you see this, you are going to come down, then you come to Power BI desktop download. You click on that. Okay, very good. Thank you. Someone is sharing the link for downloading now. You can also follow suit and download. So after clicking download, then it's going to take you to the page where you are going to download. As we used to say, where you're going to download it, go. Now this is the page that we are going to have. Okay, good. So you see download free, and you have download, see download or language option. If you click download free, it means that you want to download Power BI through the Microsoft Store. Like we have the Play Store, that is for Google. We have the Apple Store for iOS. We also have Microsoft Store. So if I click on download free, it will take me to the Microsoft Store. But if I click on, so essentially, so the difference between the two is that if I download Power BI through the Microsoft Store, whenever there is a monthly update on Power BI, I don't need to come and download it again. Whenever I'm connected online, it is going to just be updating itself. But this other part that says see download or language options, if I download through that, it means that whenever there is another month update, I need to come to Power BI to download the new setup. Then I need to uninstall the one on my system and now install this new one. I have to be doing that every month. So if I ask you, which one is better? Is it through the Microsoft Store or through the monthly?
The Microsoft Store is better.
Is better because you don't need to be coming and be downloading all the time, But for the sake of because the one that is faster and more easier is to download and be coming every month to download. But that of the Microsoft Store, you must have a Microsoft account. You could have had that before now. Maybe you've once had this Skype account. You are good to go. It could be your Gmail or something. That's one of those ones that are good. So you must have a Microsoft account because it's going to ask you to log in. After logging in, then you'll be given the opportunity to download. So when you download it, then you'll be able to use it. And it will be updating whenever you are connected online every month. So we are going to be having this page. Okay, good. The new browser recommend Microsoft is here. No, I don't need that. So I'm going to come down. You come down. You come down here. So this part, this down part, firstly, you can change the language if you wish. If you feel that I can speak other languages, you can change the language of download, Then this place, these details is giving us the details of what we want to download. You can see it's telling that the version that we're about to download now is 2.91.701.0. It was published on the 7th of March, 2021. You can see just like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 days ago. This is the size and all. It's telling us all those things that you can do. You can get data, create relationship, create report, save your report, upload and publish. Here is for system requirements. What is your system? What does it need to have? Windows 10, Windows Server, blah, 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 Microsoft, this, that. Then install instruction. So can we see this download page? Yes. Okay, it's like it's not showing it. Can we see this down? Download page? Well, you will be able to. Okay. Please, is anyone?
He's breaking. We can't hear you clearly.
Me, please. How I'm not the only one here. So if you are opening through the Microsoft Store, my Microsoft Store is taking a little bit of time to open. So when it opens, let's go to the normal process. It's very straightforward and direct. Okay, that is the part. Then click on next and all. So you just go to your system where you have the download, then you click on the setup and you'll be able to just follow through the processes, of downloading. It's very easy and you are good to go. So after installing all that, installing the Power BI in your system now, following all the download, the installation process, this is what, okay, let me just share my screen now. I want to show us something. Okay. Okay, this is my own local machine, my system. And I have some things that I've downloaded earlier. Okay, so my own Power BI is here. You can see, so I'll just double click on it. Then I'm going to start the installation process. Now, I don't need to install it here again because I already have Power BI on my system. Good. So after launching Power BI, this is what we are going to be having. After following through all the installation process and it is successful and complete, this is what you'll be having. This is the first interaction you'll be having with Power BI. I once have someone that said when he got here, the person will just say that I don't know how to go further. and the person just closed the application. For like weeks, the person will open it. When it opens Power BI, this is what you will see. We close it again, that, hey, I don't know how to proceed though. But there is just only one small thing that you can do. You know, there is a cancel button here. You can cancel it, and that is gone. You know, if you want Power BI license, you can buy it here. If you want to be connected to data, these are work that I've done before. That is why it is opening for me. But I'm going to close this. Just click on that button, and this is the interface for your Power BI, and you're good to go. Hello, I hope someone is with me.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. 100% with you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So, okay, I have to just close this, you know, because I've been working on Power BI. That is why it's bringing all these stuff that, oh, you didn't save the other time, it's not this, it's not that. Let's leave all that for Microsoft. So this is the Power BI interface. It is an application which has a lot of korokoro, or a lot of hidden parts, which if you're able to know all those hidden parts, you are good to go. The first thing that I'm going to talk about here, and coincidentally or funny enough, since it is a Microsoft product, we all know that Microsoft product, they are going to be starting with their ribbons up here, and we are going to be having their tabs here. So like the normal file ribbon, the home, the insert, modeling, view, blah, blah, blah. So if you click on any one, they are going to show some other things in their tabs, and they are just normal like that. I don't want to go into details of what they can do because I want to do a small visualization for us. Or okay, let's just proceed. First thing, on this home ribbon, these are the tabs that you have. You know, your normal paste, cut, copy, format, painting is not different from what you have in your normal Microsoft. You have get data. This get data is talking about the fact that where are the sources where you can get data from. And you can see what pops out. You have Excel. You can get data from Excel. You say import data from Microsoft Excel workbook. Fine. You can get from Power BI dataset, Power BI data flows. These are online embedded features where you can get data set. You can get from SQL Server, you know, where you just need to write your select statement to get that. Analytics services, text CSV. Who can tell us the full meaning of CSV, please? CSV, what does it mean? You can type, you can talk. Anybody? I just want to be sure that I'm not just talking into the thin air. Anybody, please? CSV, what does it mean? Comma separated value. Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you, Mr. Sharif Zubair. Comma separated value. Essentially, CSV are text, but they are being separated with comma. So you can get data from that. You can get data from web, you know, maybe from the COVID-19 web. You can get data from data or data feed, you know, blank query, write your own query and all. You can come to more. When you click on more, it's going to show you other places where you can also get data from. And it's going to arrange them in one way or the other. You are going to have a field for folder where you can get data from your, if you have stored the data on your system, you can actually get data from that. And okay, this is taking a little bit of time. Let me just continue explaining. You see that all the ribbon that you are having here, all of them, okay. Okay, let me share this other screen. Okay. Yeah, you should be able to see the screen. I don't know. Okay, can we see the screen now? Good. Can we see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So this is saying that these are all the places where you can get data from. Then this is talking about file. You know, these are things that you stored maybe on your system. SharePoint, you can get data from there, from Paracle, from PDF. PDF, if your PDF have tables, you can extract data from it. If you have a folder on your system, JSON file, XML, you know, text CSV, these are databases, you know, that you can get data from, ASEX, SQL, IBM, and so on and so forth. You have the Power Platform. Wow, I like Power Platforms. You know, it's very, very interesting. You can get data from here. Then what's the next one? Who can pronounce it? This one that I just clicked on. I need someone to pronounce it. Hello. I need someone to pronounce this. Azure.
Azure.
Good. Azure. You know, the first time that I saw this word, I call it, I think Azure or something. You know, I wasn't able to pronounce it well, but it's Azure. So the Azure is an online database too. You can have data from the Azure database. Azure is more than just database. There are so many other things that Azure can do. Then online services as well. You have that. Then you have others where you have your website and you can, okay, you can see the online services, SharePoint, Microsoft Exchange, Dynamics, you know, and Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, Data World, you know, from GitHub as well. You can get data. Azure DevOps, you know, I worked something recently on that as well. So then from others, you know, website, you can get data from that. You know, if you want to write your R script, your Python code and everything, you can also do all that. So we are back to the normal page now. So all these ones as well, they are just extract of where we can get data from. This is transformation. This is the Power Query. We are still going to look at that. This is new visuals, text box, blah, blah, blah. All those ones are features that we have here. Another thing that we need to take note is that you can also type in your data directly here in Power BI. Just like when you are inputting your data in Excel, you can also do the same thing here directly. You know, if you are not importing the data from any source. I want it to show so that we see how that is possible. Good. Okay, let me share it so that we can see how it is. Because most time I observe that most people don't used to talk about this, and it's very, very important. You know, these are the columns. I can input data. I just click on that column 1 and I say name. If I press my tab, it goes to the next column and I say age. If I press my tab, it goes to the next column and I say state. If I press enter, it comes down. I can say name is MMC. Age is MMC is how old now? Let's say 3. Then state is Lagos. Yes. So as I'm inputting data here, yeah, I can start to input my data. So I can input my data as I want. I can say Labiba. Labiba is 100 years. Then I can say that she's Oshun. I can so many things. I can say Sahid. You know, he's 150 years. I can say maybe Ogun or so. You know, then the table, I'm going to give it a name. The default name is table here. I can change the name. I can say Power BI class. Power BI Jedi. You know, who knows the meaning of Jedi? So let me add one more person here. Who else are we adding? Let's say Buhari. Buhari too is here. Is maybe 76 years. I don't know. He's from is it Katsina or Kaduna? I don't know. Then you can load. When we load this, it's going to load directly into our Power BI. You know, and that is that. So we are going to have that data on our Power BI and we'll be able to use that. Okay, I think I can share this now. Okay, that is loading. While that is loading, I can also get data maybe from my local machine or from my system or from my PC. Everything is talking about the same thing. You know, those are part of the jargons that used to confuse us when we just started the journey. They say PC, they say your edge, or well, we still have a little time here in Lagos, so we just want to quickly round up and leave. You get it? So, slide changes. So I want to get data that I have stored on my system here. And that data, I'm going to be using it. Okay, this is still loading the data that we created, that we manually created. It is loading it now. So you see Power BI Jedi, that is the name. One thing that we need to note again is that for Power BI also is that everything that you are bringing in is seen it as a table. So if you have all your data, all your columns and your rows like that, it's going to bring it in as a table. So Power BI, we see it as just one table and you'll be able to relate with that. You get it? So the name of your table, if you don't have a particular name, Power BI will just give it one nothing name, maybe sheet 1 or this or that. But you can rename and you move on. While that is working, this interface is actually divided into something like 4 or 5. The first ones are the ribbons and the tabs as we have them here. This side part is also important. This side where my arrow is, you see that there is something like a gold or a brown something around this graph that we are having by my far left here. We call it the report view. If you click on the one that is under it that looks like a table, that is the data view. When we get there, we'll be able to see our data in total. If you click on the third one, that is the data model view. That is where we do our data modeling. That is another essential part of the Power BI. This white space that is in the middle, where you're having this import data, blah, 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 those things, we call it the Power BI canvas, where we do your visualization canvas. Then underneath it, we have page, just like sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 in Excel. You have page 1. If you click on this plus, it's going to play page 2 and all like that. My system is a bit slow, maybe because of work on it. So please just have to bear with me. So then this to my far right, these are the panes. So the first one is the filter pane, although I've collapsed it now, that is why it's not yet showing. Then the second one is the visualization pane, where I can pick any of these visualization and be visualizing on my canvas. Then the third one is the fields, where my table will be loaded and I'll be able to use it, for the visualization. You get it? So those are the essential components. Now, under this visualization pane, here we have the values, and here we have like the filters, where we can also make a lot of adjustments, and a lot of editing to our work. I hope someone can still hear me because this is giving me some
Yes.
here. Thank you. So okay, this is telling us that this has finally loaded. Okay, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use the data set that we created manually now and just do 1 or 2 visuals with it. Then after that, if you have any question, you can take, because I'm afraid that if I import the data that I want to use, is a lot of rows. This one that is taking this for just 5 rows of data to load, that could take the whole day. Maybe you can be taking the question as we move along, with that. Good. Thank you very much. So you can see this is our canvas. This is the data view that I was talking about. If I click on it now, you see that this thing is going to change. Yes, it's going to change and it's going to show our data one after the other, just like what we used to have in Microsoft Excel. Just like what we used to have in Microsoft Excel. So if you have been using Excel before now, then Power BI is just like an upgrade, that makes your life easier. You can see this is the table that we have, the name column, the age column, and we have the state column. Although you can't edit anything here, although you can filter, You can't edit here except you go to the Power Query to do your editing. Then this is the data modeling view that I also talked about, that is going to arrange your data in different tables, and this is where you connect them with one another. You can see this is giving us that this is just one table that we have here, and that is fine. So I'm going to go back to our report view. Good. And we move on. So I want to import data that I have on my local machine. So I'll click on get data. It is an Excel data, so I'll click on Excel. So it's going to ask me to navigate to where I have that. Or should we use the COVID-19 data set through the NCDC? I need a response. Should we use that? Okay, since you are not responding, let me just move on. So I'm going to navigate to where I have my data set. This is where I have my data set. I'm using the TIDA data set, TIDA small. Anyone? Okay, good. The TIDA small. So I click on open. So it's going to open my data set for me. Please wait while we establish a connection to TIDA small.xlsx. That is another name for Excel. Okay, then something that we need to take note here. What Power BI is doing, it is not bringing the data directly. You can see it's saying that we establish a connection to the name of this data set. It is not importing the data into Power BI, but what it is doing is that it is creating a connection, like a pipe, connecting Power BI to the repository where you are having the data set on your system. So it means that if you change the location of that data set on your system, Power BI is going to be giving you error that, oh, I can't see that data set again, oh, and there's nothing to visualize. You know, it's just like, okay, you have a tap that water is running from, then you put a pipe and you put a pipe that is connecting it to a drum, a reservoir where we are keeping the water. You know, if you remove the pipe, there won't be water again in the reservoir. And if, as you are putting water in the reservoir, people are using it, then there will be a time that the water there will just be empty. And that is an error. You know, so Power BI will be telling you that I can't see the source of the data again. If you change the location, maybe the data that you connected to was in your download, you now move it to documents. Immediately you move it to documents. If you open your Power BI and you have worked on that data with your Power BI, what you are going to be seeing on your screen will be error, telling you that they cannot locate that data set again. So it will now give you the option that you want to change the data source, then you can reconnect to that same data set. So please, we have to take note of that. Power BI is just getting a connection to that data set. It is not important. So we're having a navigator page here, and this is telling us that we have sheet 1. It's only sheet 1 that we have in that. So if I click on this sheet 1, I check it. It's going to give me a preview of how that data set look like here, as in how my data set look like. And okay, this is how the data set look like, and we start work on that. So, but before we move on, you will see load, transform, and cancel. Essentially, you can load directly. Load means that bring this data set inside this Power BI, and let me start visualization as we have the Power BI Jedi here directly. Transform means that, okay, please take our data. We want to go to the kitchen of Power BI to paparazzi our data very well, you know, and that is, it will take you to the Power Query. Power Query. You can see my data set is showing here. Okay, you can see that it's showing region, country, item, blah, blah, blah. I can swing to the right and all. It's not showing everything because it can't just be giving me all the details here, but at least it's going to show me some essential roles so that I know that, okay, this is how my data looks like. Then I'll click on transform. It's always good to click on transform, you know, so that it leads you to the Power Query editor, where I call the kitchen of Power BI, you know, and we know what we do in kitchen. I don't want us to, okay, you can type, what do you do in kitchen? What do you do in your own kitchen? just type. So while this is connecting us to our Power Query, the kitchen of Power BI. What do you do in your own kitchen? Let's hear you out. You sleep in your kitchen, you cook, good. You cook in your own kitchen, that's fine. Some other people do some other things in their own kitchen. You're still creating a connection. Tell us, we have ladies in the room, Muslim sisters, so tell us, what do you do in your own kitchen? You play, wow. If you play in your own kitchen, we have a place for you to also play in the Power BI kitchen as well, you know. So the Power Query editor is another interface that is going to show up just like this opening interface of Power BI here. Okay, you eat there. If that is what you do, no problem, you are welcome. So that interface is so easy to navigate as well and use, you know. It is filled with the ribbons and the tabs also. Yeah, you bake, good. Someone do bake in our own kitchen too. She's not talking about it. You know, we know them. So we have the Power Query editor here. Call it Power Query Editor. This is where you edit your data. Or all what you do in kitchen, you bake, you cook, you eat, you sleep, everything. You add salt, you grind, you cook soup, you do amala, you bouillon, you do all those stuff, you pound yam and all. Everything is embedded in this Power Query Editor. It's still trying to load over there, but I think I can see it clearly. Can you see the rows from your end? The columns and the rows. Can we see the column and the rows from our end? Okay, it's still loading. So it has loaded here. So let me just quickly be talking about that. You see that we have home ribbon, transform ribbon. We have the add column ribbon, view ribbon. Then we have the tools ribbon and the help ribbon. You know, those are the ribbons, and each of them have their own specific functions. You know, here, I don't know why this thing is not yet loading, but it has loaded here for me. You know, so I want to perform some small operations here. I don't know what's wrong. But I think you should have seen the columns and the rows from your hand. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah, good. So thank you. So you can see that it is showing that, okay, in our data source, we have one data that is called Power BI JEDA. We have another one that is called Sheet 1. You know, it is not giving us the name because we don't give it name yet. So it's telling us that it is called Sheet 1. So we can change the name of this sheet. I can come here where you have name and change it and call it MMC. MMC TDA. Press my enter. You can see the name changes here. Although I can also right click here. Just right click and you see rename. You can also rename it there. That's why I said there are so many ways of doing things in Power BI. You can say rename and you rename, or you double click on this gently. You are going to rename it. Good. So, okay, this is our table. Let us look through our table and see what is happening. The table is telling us, okay, we have regions, you know, regions of the world. We have countries, South Africa, Morocco, Papua New Guinea, Djibouti, and all. We have item types. Which item are we selling? I think this TIDA is like a big supermarket. that sells a lot of things across the whole world. So item type, what item? The sales channel. I can click on this small arrow for me to see what are the sales channel, what are the components that we have there. I can sort it ascending, I can sort it descending, I can remove empty. We have online and offline essentially, and that's fine. Then we have other priority, that is telling us M, L, H, C, blah, blah, blah. We have other dates, giving us the other dates, the date that they placed the order. We have the units sold, how many units were sold of the items. We have the unit price, and we have the unit cost, and we have the total revenue. There, we have the total cost, and we have the total profit. In some places you will see gross profit, product costs. They are referring to the same thing. Total revenue. You can quickly tell us, how do you get this total revenue from all what we have, from all the columns that we have? You can get it from quantity times unit price, and you get your, what is it called? So then to my far right here, we have applied steps. In this Power Query editor, there is no Control Z. Now, our usual Control Z, when we undo the last thing and we move to Control Y, there is nothing like that. But what we have here is at the steps of what we are doing. Look at the first thing saying source, connecting the Power BI to the data source. It navigates to that place, then you bring in the data, it promoted the headers. These are the headers of the data set. Then it changed the type, the data type of each one by recognizing it, and that is where we stopped. And we stopped there. So many things that we can do with the data sets. We can change the data type of all these data sets, if they don't correspond. You can check that, okay, this ABC, if I click on this ABC like this, giving us a list of all the data type. If I see that, okay, that data is a decimal, I can click this, is a fixed number, whole number, percentage, date, blah, 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 like that. But this one is text, essentially. Country is text, this is correct, this is correct, this is correct as well. Other date is also correct. Unit sold is whole number, good. Unit price is decimal, because we have them in decimal also. Unit cost also the same thing. Then we have the total price in decimal. So it means that their data type is correct. So if you need to change any of the data type, you can change it directly from here, or you come here where you have data type text. You can click on this and you also change it. That is why I said that at times there are so many ways of doing just one thing in Power BI. So all what you have here is the same thing that you have here when you click on all these numbers. So what I want to do essentially is that there's something that we called, when we are looking at data modeling. I mentioned during the first introduction part of this session that you can do data modeling, and it is a way of knowing someone that can use Power BI very well and someone that is just playing around the software, and a way to make your work more easier. Essentially, data modeling is when you group your data into different tables. This MMC TDAT table now, I can extract other tables from it. And any table I want to extract from it, from Microsoft, they group all of them into two. We have dimension table and fact table. When we say dimension table, it is talking about a particular table that has qualitative data that are not showing measures, that are not figure, that are only text. Like this region is a dimension column. This country is a dimension column. Item type is a dimension column, because they are describing something. They are not giving figures or numbers about that particular thing. The same thing for sales channel is also a dimension. Other priority is also dimension as well. Then you have other dates. We classify dates to be fact columns. Then we have other columns like units sold. We classify it under facts because it is figure, it is a measure that we can add it together, we can subtract, we can get the mean and every other thing. The same thing for unit price, unit cost, still the end. So what I'm going to do now is I want to divide this MMC TIDA table into two. So a way of doing that, I will duplicate the table first and put those that are dimension table one side, those that are fact table, I'm going to put them on the other side. So this MMC, I'm going to change the name, MMC TIDA fact. So that I know that this is a fact table. So I'm going to remove all the other columns that are not fact columns here. So a way to do this is click on one of the columns. I'm going to click on one of the columns. I'm going to click on one of the columns and I'm going to choose column. This is taking a little bit of time to load. Okay, let's change the name of this other one too. From MMC TIDA, I want to change it to MMC dimension. Dimen. So that we know that, okay, the first one are facts, is a table containing the fact columns, while the other one is a table containing the dimension column. So for the fact column, when I click this, it should pop out all the columns that we have here. Then I can remove the columns that I don't know. You know, there are some, you see that there are some jargons that we have here, table.transform columns type, blah, 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 like that. These are M scripts, you know, the code that are used to write these Power Query. There is no big deal in them actually, you know, because as you move on, you are going to understand it and understand what they stand for. You know, if we have enough time, we too could have written one or two scripts or one or two M scripts. You see that it is very, very easy to write. This is taking time to load. I don't know what's wrong. You know, so okay, let's use that to talk about other things. Okay, in this this tab that we have here, I can connect to another data source here. You know, hop here, new source. I can connect to another data source. Recent sources that I've connected to, that is what it's talking about. I can also enter data directly. You know, if I want to change the source of my data set, I can add some parameters. Those are like a little bit of advanced. And what we have here too, they're a little bit of advanced, you know, where you have your query and all. Choose column here is for you to choose the column that you want and remove the column that you don't want. The same thing for rows, keep rows and remove rows. I can sort everything, our normal sorting in Excel. I can split a particular column. You know, maybe I want to extract the first two letters and separate it from other things in that particular column. So I can split column here. I can group by, I can change data type. I can use first rows as headers as well. Then I can replace values. Everything goes. Then here I can make query. Okay, let me quickly explain merge query and append query. These are features of Power BI too that is very, very powerful. You know, merge query is talking about the fact that if I want to add another table, okay, for instance, if I have a table of like 5 columns of a particular school, of a particular class, let's say primary 5A. So we have the name, age, class, name of mother, name of father in that particular table. Now, I now want to add two more other columns, but those two other columns is in another table, and it correlates with the first table that I have. So I will just add it to the side of this first one that I have. I'm going to merge them together. But append query is okay. For that time, my primary 5, I've added 25 students already. I now have another 5 students that are coming in, and I have their details in another table. So I can append those tables and join them by the bottom, and it's going to join, underneath it like that. So that's the difference between merge and append query. This is taking a lot of time to load. Then we have the transform button and the add column button. Essentially, they do the same thing. Okay, they do the same thing. Can transpose, reverse rows, count rows. For instance, I want to count the number of rows that we have here. It's going to tell me the number of rows. Then I can change data type, so I can replace value, pivot, move. I can split, merge columns, extract. I can do some mathematical functions. I can extract the date, time, and duration in a particular column that have date features in it. Oh my God. Okay, maybe we'll just move on in order for this not to take our time. So those are essential things that you can do in your Power Query. These are views, and these are the tools that we have, and this is help, to get documentations, to get to the communities, the developers, and all. Then after doing all your paparazzi in your Power Query, we have something that we call this. We have close and apply. Close and apply means that I'm done, close this particular window, this dialog, but this Power Query, and apply all what I've done. Only apply means that apply all what I've done, but don't close this particular window. Close here means that close this particular window and don't apply all what I've done. So that is the essence of all that. So I would just want us to close and apply so that this does not take the whole day from us. So it's going to be applying the queries. Hello? Hello?
We are with you.
Okay, well, while we are waiting for the system to load, so if you have any question, I think it is time for me to take questions now. It's time for me
What's
to
the
take questions.
difference between the when you click on load and when you use the other one, edit? Yes.
Okay. When you click on load, it's going to bring you here directly, as in this page directly, for you to start your work. But if you click on edit, it means I want to make some adjustments to my data. Then it will take you to the Power Query editor, where we are going to.
Does that mean that when you click on load, you can't edit anything? Like you can't
Yes.
do anything to your data again?
Yes, you can't do anything to your data again. You can only
So,
start your presentation, or
okay.
you write some DAX.
Okay.
So, but if you want to go back to that Power Query where you can edit, you just come to this transform data. You can see this transform data is on the home ribbon, where you have get data. Beside it, you have Excel, Power BI data set beside it, SQL Server beside it, enter data beside it, recent sources beside it. Then you have your transform data beside it. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
No.
Okay, I think it busted me out. So, but on that, your interface, you can actually create that. I'll try and join again, but we can You can be taking the questions, and even with my offline, I can answer your questions. There was a day that someone called me. I think
Rashid.
it was a Friday. Yes, I'm with you, sir.
Rashid, my name
Yes.
is Shuai.
Okay.
Based on our conversation before this program, we agreed that we will probably round up by 4:30 because of two
Yeah.
things. One, it's time for Astray, and we can't afford to keep you here for too long. I'm sure the session the session has been interesting so far. So the
Okay.
other option we might likely explore here is to probably maybe we can organize like an advanced Power BI class. If it's possible for us to have an earlier time of the day, maybe between 10 and 12 or thereabouts. And prior to that time, we will have to dish out instructions on what people should do, like downloading the app, share the work file they work with, and like, because as much as possible, I don't think it's fair, to just keep you here because if you allow this session to run, 7 will still be here, trust me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm quite sure that people are getting a lot from this session. So maybe what we should do is this. You said, what was your take about sharing your slides across our platforms? So
Yeah, I will
maybe those are
surely do that.
awesome.
You can do that. There's no problem with that.
Okay,
I'm
you
just trying
sent the
to
PDF.
share my. Yeah. Okay. I have the slide so I can share with you.
Yes, I think you shared the PDF version of the slide
Yes.
with me the other day.
Yes. Yes.
So
And share
maybe
the
what
PowerPoint too.
PowerPoint. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to share the PDF. Maybe
Okay.
what
No
we will do
problem.
is this. Your contact is on the slide. For those that are interested in taking this thing further, they can talk to you. I'll also do a bit of digging and see if I can get a couple of videos on YouTube, maybe free courses on Udemy and share across our platform. But from look of things, we will probably need to have another session on Power BI later in future, inshallah.
Yes. Well, when that time is, just let me know earlier. Then it will be better that at that time, let's have commitment from people that are really, really interested, maybe in Power BI. So we can do those sessions. Essentially, even that
Yeah.
session, we cannot treat everything, but at least they will know the essential part of Power BI. And if they have any issue, they know how to go on that and reach out, because most of the time you see people that, oh, I'm interested in this, that, but maybe 1 or 2 assignments, or give them 1 or 2 exercises to do like that, they are off. They are not ready to do any other thing again. So, but I feel that if you have people that are really, really interested, yes, we can organize 1 or 2 sessions, and all. And there are some free courses, as you mentioned, that we do see online. We can also be sharing that for people to get to know. And I'm also putting up a course online, but I don't want to mention it here so that it won't be as if I'm marketing my course already. So I
I
think that's
understand.
fine. Then on my slide, for those that will be having that slide has a link to the data set, this TIDA small data set that I'm using. So the last slide, there's a part underneath the footer that says link to the data set that we'll be using in the class. So you can also just click that link, or you copy it, put it on your Google Drive, on your Google. It's going to link you to where you are going to copy that data set and be able to use it. Someone asks a question that where can they get data set to be used? There are so many free websites where you can get data sets. There are some websites that you have to pay as well.
Very true. Very true. So if that's the case, I will.
Example of those free websites to get sort of data set that you can use, although most of them used to be in CSV file, comma separated value, but Excel can open CSV file and you can also import it down here. So then we have Zindi.ai, yes. Just put Zindi Africa online. You have that. Then even in Data World, you can also download online data online. There are some other websites that if you want to download data, you need to subscribe or pay or make all those stuff. So you can also search on that. But if you go to Kaggle or Zindi, you'll be able to get free data set for you to practice with. And you are good to go. Even on Microsoft website as well, you can get free data sets. Microsoft Learn. So that's fine. Someone is raising his hand. Adewale Adebola, I don't know if he can unmute himself and talk.
Okay, yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, that was a great presentation.
Oh,
Yeah, my question is, on that pivot, okay, in Excel, when you're trying to do your analysis, you make use of something like keywords for mapping. So I now want to ask, in this Power BI, do we have to, the data we're going to analyze, does it have to be in form of, does it need to have keywords for mapping or whatever data it can, read it and then analyze?
Well, I didn't actually get your question very well. If I want to pretend that I get it, hello.
Hello, yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, I said
Yeah.
I didn't actually get your question well. Maybe can you just recapitulate so that for me?
Yeah, what I'm saying is, in a pivot under Excel,
okay,
before you can analyze, you have to do, you must have keywords for every item of transaction that you're analyzing.
no, it's not compulsory.
Keywords.
You just convert your sheet to a table. Well, I'm not getting what you're saying. Just convert your sheet to a table and you start. As in, you're talking about pivot table, right?
Yes, in Excel. Okay, you don't have anyway for the Power BI. You don't need any keyword. You can analyze what's up.
Just continue. You're good.
All right.
Okay. I'm just showing a
Abdurrashid.
Microsoft app where you can just, that I was mentioning the other time, Microsoft Store, where you download Power BI for free and all. Yeah, you're saying something, sir?
Yes, sir. This is 431.
Okay.
Maybe you should leave up with some party words and information so that at least we can declare this session closed.
Okay. Thank you very much. Firstly, I want to appreciate the MMC for the opportunity of the session. I also want to appreciate everybody for joining us this evening. So, and as we've mentioned, we are going to share the slide that I use. In the slide, there are some links to some things you can check. Then you can always reach out to me. My contact is on the slide as well. You just reach out to me on WhatsApp, especially, just say from MMC, then ask your questions. You can also call me on phone if I'm less busy, although most of the time during the day, maybe weekdays, I may not have access to be using the phone so well like that, except maybe I'm going for Salat or something. But you can send a WhatsApp message, and I'm going to reply you if there's any question with respect to Power BI. And as we've mentioned earlier, Power BI gets monthly updates, and everybody keeps learning the application, the update that Microsoft is bringing. They are updating it so that it match up with the modern trend of analytics and what people really need. And this is a very, very essential, powerful tool, especially for those in the corporate organization, that have a Microsoft account, maybe the 365 account, and they are trying to automate some of their processes. So if they have the data analyst in-house, they can use Power BI. The person can just try to push in some things, their analytics, put it on SharePoint, put it on Power Apps and every other thing. And everybody will be seeing what is happening to their company based on the data that they have. So on this note, I want to appreciate everybody. I want to implore us that we can take this further to also learn more about Power BI. We pray to Almighty Allah to benefit every one of us abundantly. Thank you very much for having me. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Abdurrashid, Jazakumullah khairan. It's only Allah that can reward you for sparing couple of hours with us, and we hope we'll be able to bring you back to organize one session. On this note, I want to thank everybody for sparing 2 hours of their time to at least take one or two things from this session. Learning, they say, will never end. So part of what MMC is also doing is to see how we can support the Islamic community to at least improve ourselves in whatever we need to survive in this environment globally and to be better Muslims. On this note, I'm saying Jazakumullah khairan to everyone, and I pray that Allah will spare our lives till Ramadan and afterwards. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.